y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the, no, here comes the, oh, here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the, no, here comes the, oh, yeah, here comes the, no, here comes the, oh, here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the, no, here comes the, oh, here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah, here comes the, no, here comes the, oh, y'all don't really want it now.
Hello and welcome to the 30-Minute Drill. I'm Joe Rapp. Alongside me is Peter Samylenko. Pete, how you doing today?
I'm doing very good, Joe. How are you doing?
Good, Pete. What month is it?
It is February.
Well, you know what that means?
March Madness is just around the corner.
Yep, we're going to go right into a college basketball. We're going to talk about the Big East, one of the best conferences in the country. Who do you think's the best team?
It's got to be UConn. They're playing fantastic right now. Number one in the country. Not only do I think they're number one in the Big East, I do think they are the best team in the country. They're playing fantastic. Jeff Adrian seems to be a beast on the inside. A.J. Price leading the team at point guard. He's grown up a lot since last year. I like them. I think they're the best team right now, and I could definitely see them playing in the national championship the way they're playing right now.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you. I think Marquette University is the best team in the Big East. They got great guard playing. Dominic James averaging 8 assists a game. It's a very good total for college. And they have like I said, good guard play, and they got a good starting lineup, 2 big men. I think they're the best team in the conference. Now we're going to go to disappointments in the conference. They have good teams and they have bad teams at the bottom. Who thinks the biggest disappointment?
Well, I really don't think there's many disappointments in the Big East. They have top to bottom. It's a pretty good conference. I think the best conference in the country. I mean, St. John's and Seton Hall close to the bottom, Providence, but they're still not that bad of a team. They're not as good as UConn, Marquette, Syracuse, all those teams at the top. But top to bottom, a good conference. I think the biggest upset is Georgetown, though. They've started off the season very well, beating UConn. The only loss for UConn this year. And recently they've just been losing games that they shouldn't be losing to badly not even ranked teams. And now they're not ranked either. They're disappointed, but I think they will come back. I think they will rebound. They will play very good in the tournament.
Well, I think Syracuse, even though they're ranked, I think they're a huge disappointment. They got probably the best talent in the country. Johnny Flynn can shoot it. He can pass. He's just a great point guard. And they got Harris down low as a big man. I just think they're a big disappointment. All right, we're going to go to the ACC. Again, one of the better conferences in the country. Who do you think is the best team there?
I think the best team is North Carolina. As I said in the beginning of the year, people said they might go undefeated. I probably agreed with them in the beginning of the year. They were very intimidating, had their whole starting lineup back from last year. They're still playing good, going under the radar, now ranked, I believe, 3rd or 4th, one of the two. But, I mean, the ACC is so good, and they're blowing by teams, and they will be very dangerous when it comes tournament time. And Hansborough is one of the best players in the country, and I like them. I think they're definitely the best team in the ACC.
Well, Pete, I don't trust UNC. I mean, they lost to Boston College, not exactly a great team. And then the very next game for Boston College, they lost to Harvard, okay? So I don't trust them at all. I think Wake's the best team in the ACC. They beat UNC when they were ranked 3rd or 4th, as you said, and they beat Duke, who was the number 1 team in the country at the time. Jeff Teague is one of the best point guards in the country. He takes big shots for him. All right? Wake Forest is the best team in the ACC. I promise you. By the end of the year, they were going to win the tournament.
I don't know about that, Joe. It'll be interesting. 2 very good teams, and I think the tournament's this year going to be better than ever with as many great teams there are. I mean, just every week it seems like the number 1's going down because there's so many good teams in the top 10. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
What do you think's a big disappointment in the ACC?
I think as good as Duke's playing, people thought they would stay number 1 a lot longer than they did, and they really haven't. They haven't been playing that great. They almost lost to a couple bad teams in the ACC recently. They almost lost this past weekend. They went into overtime, and I think they're the biggest disappointment. They're playing good, but they're not playing as good as expected.
I have to agree with you. I think Duke, they lost to Michigan at Michigan. It was a tough game, but they keep losing to teams that aren't very good. Yeah, I agree with you there. Do you think Duke can win the national championship?
Absolutely not. They have no chance at all, I don't think. Just because of the fact that they don't seem like they can win the big game. They haven't played very good in the tournament the last few years, and I don't think it's this year either.
Well, we talked about the Big East and ACC. Who do you think is the better conference?
There's no doubt about it. It's the Big East. The ACC has probably their top 4 teams: Clemson, Duke, Wake Forest, and UNC. Their top 4 teams are, I think, better than The Big East, top 4 teams, but top to bottom, Big East is better. They have a lot better teams. They had at one point 8 teams in the top 25, and I like the way they're playing. I like every team in the Big East. I definitely think Big East is better.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think ACC is better. I mean, as you said, they got 4 teams in the top 10. That hasn't happened in years. I mean, UNC and Duke, I think, have more talent than UConn and Marquette. So I disagree with you there. ACC is better. Who do you think is the best team in the land, in the country? And, of course, you probably think it's out of these 2 conferences.
Yeah, it's definitely out of one of these 2 conferences. And like I said before, it's going to be UConn. They're number 1 in the country now. I think they're going to stay for the rest of the year. They have a couple tough games coming up. They have Pitt, they have Syracuse, a couple other big conference games. But I think they're the best in the country. They've been winning big games all year. 1 loss to Georgetown, who was playing good at the time. I don't see how they're not the best team in the country. What do you think, Joe?
I think Pitt's the best team. I mean, they got they got Blair down low, who's one of the best offensive rebounders in the country. They got Sam Young, who idolizes Michael Jordan and has probably the most athleticism in the country. And they got Lance Fields, in my opinion, the best point guard in the country. So I think they're the best team, no doubt about it. All right, we're just going to go right into it. Best player in the country. Who do you got?
I'm going to take Stephen Curry. He's fantastic all around. Best shooter in the land. Best player in the land. When you want to take a big shot, he's the one you want to take it. Playing for Davidson. Definitely could have been playing for a bigger school, but definitely the best player in the land, no doubt about it. And he's going to have a big tournament this year like he did last year.
I think Blake Griffin's the best player. I mean, he's on the number 2 team in the country. I think he can dominate any game he wants to. All right, Pete, that's it for college basketball. There will be more 30-minute drill after this.
Yeah. Let's go. Big night, big night.
I don't think I can do it tonight.
Steve, you have to. Suck it up.
Steve, you were born to do this. Guys, they're here.
Let's go!
Welcome back to the 30-minute drill. I'm your host, Max Zager, alongside Steve Cinque and Rob Feit.
Welcome back to the 30-minute drill. I'm Joe Rapp. Alongside me is Peter Samylenko. Last time we talked about hockey, Pete, your Devils were in 3rd place. Now they're in 1st place, and they switched place with the Rangers, actually. Why are they playing so well?
Oh, my God, Joe. They're playing so well right now. It's a very exciting time for me. I'm a big Devils fan, as you know. And the Devils are playing fantastic. They won 8 in a row, and they lost 1. Then they won 2, lost another 1 recently to the Kings. They're the best team in their conference, in Atlantic Division, rather. And I think they're maybe better than the Capitals, who are in 2nd place in the conference, even though they lost to them. But Devils are playing fantastic. Brendan Shanahan coming out of retirement, 40 years old, had a couple big goals. Jamie Langenbrunner had 7 goals in 4 games, and he's the captain of the team. He's leading them. And, of course, Scotty Clemenson, replacing Marty Brodeur, has definitely been the biggest surprise of the year in the NHL, playing amazing. And Marty Brodeur is set to come back February 26th against the Avalanche. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, as you said, Marty Brodeur is coming back in a couple weeks. With him in the lineup, do you think they can win the championship?
Absolutely. They've been playing fantastic without him in the lineup, and he's one of the best goalies ever to play the game. When he comes back, they're just going to get better. Scott Clemenson is playing very well, but I think they will just get better with Marty Brodeur. Their defense is playing very well. They just got rid of Sheldon Brookbank, an extra defender, and they got a couple of young kids. So, I mean, their younger system is they're going to be good in the future, too. I like them. And even though they're one of the oldest teams in the league right now, offense is playing great. They have 4 very strong lines. I love it right now. I love it.
Well, we're going to stay in the Atlantic Division, go with the Pittsburgh Penguins. All right? They supposedly have the best player in the NHL in Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, and they got supposedly the best goalie in Marc-Andre Fleury. Why are they struggling so much? They're in 4th place.
Why do I think they're struggling?
I'm asking you.
Sidney Crosby is a big baby, Joe. He's been hurt recently, sitting out games, didn't play in the All-Star game. I mean, the best player in the NHL, you want in the All-Star game. I don't know what. He's a big baby. I don't like that. Evgeny Malkin, on the other hand, is playing fantastic, carrying the team, keeping them intact, even though they're not in the playoffs right now. They will make the playoffs. They will be good. Marc-Andre Fleury will step up in the playoffs, and they'll be a good team come playoff time.
Do you think they can get far in the playoffs? Maybe get to the Stanley Cup?
You never know. They got 2 great players and a great goalie. Anything could happen.
Well, we're going to go with Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. I know you think Sidney Crosby is worse than Alex Ovechkin. And why do you think Ovechkin's better?
As I said earlier this year, Ovechkin's a lot better just because he's a team player. He had 60 assists last year, and he's the best. I think he's the best player since Gretzky. I mean, Gretzky had 92 goals one year. Ovechkin had 60 last year. I mean, in this day and age in hockey, I mean, you don't score 60 goals. It's not very common. There's so many good players. Gretzky dominated back then, and Ovechkin's dominating right now.
Well, I think Ovechkin's better for one reason. His team's in first place. Crosby's team is in fourth place. So we'll see what happens in the end. Now, we're going to go back to 2 years ago, Pete. The San Jose Sharks traded for Joe Thornton, a great player at the time. Look what that's come to. They're in first place in their division. They're leading their division by 20 points. I mean, it's ridiculous. Why do they keep winning?
They're fantastic. They have a great goalie in Evgeny Nabokov. Joe Thornton's leading that team after he came from Boston a few years ago. They're playing the best hockey in the league by far. Maybe the Boston Bruins might be up there too. But they're playing the best at home too. They rarely lose home games. At one point, they didn't lose since last year. They lost one. But all around, they're a great team. They're going to do very well in the playoffs. They might even win the cup, Joe. Might even win the cup.
You think they have a legitimate chance to win the cup?
Absolutely. They're playing fantastic, and I think they will continue to play fantastic.
Well, we're going to go with the Red Wings now. They've been playing well the last few years. They've won Stanley Cups. Why does this team keep winning? It's ridiculous. They win 60 games every year, 90 points.
It's not surprising to me at all that they're winning again this year because they win every year. But they got a lot of experience. Brian Rafalski playing defense. They have 2 good goalies who switch on and off. Osgood getting most of the time, but he's very good. And they got a great forwards and the great defense with Lindstrom. And I love the team. They're going to be good every year. No surprise, they're good this year. Until some of their players retire, they're not going to be bad, to put it that way.
Well, we're going to go to the Flames in the Northwest Division. They have Jerome Guinia. Can't say his name, but he's a great player. He led the Flames to the Cup 2 years ago. Do you think they can win? They're in first place.
I don't think they could win. There's too many good teams in the West. Although Jerome McGinley is the leader of that team, he's a fantastic player. Everyone knows his name. He's led the team to the Cup 2 years ago, like you said, and I don't think it's their year this year. I don't think they're good enough.
Well, you said the Devils. The Devils are in first place, right?
In their division, yes.
Yeah, and the Rangers switched places with them, like I said before. What are the Rangers' downfall? They're not playing as well as they did in the beginning of the season. I
mean, people say they don't score goals, which they haven't been recently. I think it's their defense. They let up 10 goals to the Stars the other day, which is unbelievable. It doesn't happen in the NHL. Maybe once a year, 10 goals in a game, and the defense is killing them. They're not going to have any chance to win if they don't play defense.
Well, Pete, championship picks can change throughout the year. Who do you got winning right now?
Winning the Cup right now? It's a tough one, Joe. I'm going to have to say, as much as I love the Devils, I'm going to have to go with the Boston Bruins. They have a great defense. They have a 6'9" guy in Zdeno Chara. They have a great goalie, Tim Thomas, who's in the All-Star game. They have good forwards, young guys, and they're going to win the Cup this year. As of right now, they're going to win the Cup this year. Too good. They're too good.
All right, Pete. That's it for hockey. I'm Joe Rapp, and there will be more 30-minute drill after this.
Do you watch the 30-minute drill?
No lo veo. No hablo español, no hablo inglés.
Mike Gilger, have you ever watched 30-minute drill?
I've never watched a show in my life. I think it's the worst show ever.
Do you like the 30-minute drill?
I hate all of it.
I hate you.
Just walk away. So Matt, you were rejected by Mr. Hookstraight. You weren't allowed to be on the drill. How do you feel?
I don't know, Peter.
What is the 30-minute drill?
Why does everyone say this?
I like 30-minute drill. I like watching it, but no, I don't watch it.
How can we fix the 30-minute drill?
Can't fix it.
Welcome back to the 30-minute drill. I'm John Vittas, hosting this segment with Max Zager and Steve Cinque. Guys, this week is the matchup we've all been waiting for in college basketball. North Carolina versus Duke. Tar Heels and Blue Devils in Duke for the first matchup between these two teams this year. We're going to go position by position now and debate which team's better at each front court and the back court. Now, we're going to start off with the back court, which is the guards. Ty Lawson and Wayne Ellington for Duke. For UNC. And then for Duke is Greg Paulus and John Shire. Which team has the advantage in the backcourt?
Backcourt, you got to give it to UNC. They're more talented. But as I've been saying all year, Duke, they play as a team. UNC, they're more player-wise, they're more talented, but team-wise, you got to give it to Duke. Paulus and Shire, they've been playing together for years. Shire, when he's hot, one of the best shooters in the nation. So, team-wise, you got to give it to Duke. Player-wise, UNC.
It's a no-brainer. Ty Lawson, Wayne Ellington, no-brainer. Lawson is the best point guard in the country. Paulus is not even close. That's going to be a torch after torch after torch. And Ellington is on fire right now, scoring at will, not missing a shot. And Shire, he got a shot back a little bit in the second half against Miami, but before that, he was shooting terribly. So both positions, I give the edge to North Carolina.
Okay, now going to the front court, where UNC has Danny Green, Deion Thompson, and Tyler Hansbrough. Duke with Gerald Henderson, Kyle Singler, and Brian Zuback. Who do you give the advantage to in the front court?
Well, the only thing I see is Tyler Hansbrough jumping off the page right there. Deion Thompson, he is lazy. He does nothing in the game. Danny Green, he's good, but compared to Gerald Henderson, he's nothing.
Okay, he's
Gerald
right there.
Henderson is the most athletic player in the nation, finally getting a mid-range shot.
Right there.
I disagree. And Kyle Singler, he's a workhorse. Every game, he does what he has to do to win, and him and Gerald Henderson are probably the two best duos in the nation.
I think UNC again. I think you're underestimating Danny Green. Danny Green is.
No, I'm just comparing him to Gerald Henderson.
I think Green is just as good as Henderson in every respect. He's just athletic. He blocks as many shots.
No way he's athletic.
I didn't say he's more, but it's not like a total up and down difference. They're right there. He shoots better than Henderson. You can't deny that. He's deadly from three-point range, and their battle's going to be great. And then Hansbrough is going to be dominant inside. You have no one that can stop him. Singler can't touch him at all inside.
But
Thompson has been playing lazy, but I still think he's better than Zuback, who also doesn't bring you much at all inside either.
But Singler's going to be covering Thompson in this game, and no way Thompson's going to have a big force down low. So.
Well, I don't think he's not going to be able to drive in on Thompson. He's going to get swatted. He's going to have to shoot the outside shot, and Hansbrough's going to cover Singler.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think you have to give a little bit of an edge to UNC in the front court just because Zuback hasn't been able to finish. But I really like the matchup between Henderson and Danny Green. I think Henderson's a little bit more talented, Max. What do you think?
I think they're both great players. I think Henderson probably is a little bit better, more complete player than Green. As going to the basket, he's better. But I think Green is right there. And I just want to add one more thing. Ed Davis, coming off the bench for North Carolina, blocks so many shots. It's unreal. He rebounds great. He's one of the best rebounders in the ACC, and he doesn't even play that much.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with my next question. The X factor for this game, guys coming off the bench, because obviously both teams have just a ton of talent in their starting five. Probably two of the best starting fives in college basketball. So it might come down to someone off the bench or someone who you might not expect to come up big for their team to win. Who do you see that might jump off, that's a little bit off the radar and be an X factor in the game?
Well, I have two players. I have Lance Thomas, who off the bench is one of the most exciting players in the nation. He brings so much fire to the game. Just everything he does. He steals the ball, dunks, everything you could ask for in a power forward/center. Also, Elliot Williams. He was the 18th recruit in the nation. He's been doing horrendous, but I think he's going to finally have his breakout game and show everyone why we got him.
Well, my guy is Ed Davis, just like I said before. He's a great player, one of the best freshman forward on the defensive end that I've seen, if not the best. If anyone comes inside for Duke, it's going the other way. For an easy fast break for us, and we're unstoppable in the fast break offense. No one can stop Ty Lawson with the basketball, so he's my X factor.
Yeah, I think that's what UNC really needs to do in this game. They need to get rebounds, run the floor, and open up the game, because Duke likes to play controlled, very slow offense where they can move the ball around, have set plays like picks and stuff to open up defenses. But now I think I know which way you guys are going to go here, but predictions for the game and maybe a score.
Score I can't give you, but if Duke plays like a team, I give them the advantage. And Shire has to be pretty much automatic shooting the three-pointer, because if he doesn't hit his shots, there's no way Duke will win. Lately he's been playing horrible. He had a comeback game against Miami. He played great, but hopefully that carries over.
I think if North Carolina decides to step up their intensity on the defensive side, I think they win this game pretty comfortably by 15 points or so. they don't, I think it'll be a closely contested game, and Duke might be able to steal it, but I think that they're going to show up. I think they're going to get up for this game and really want to win it bad, so I think they're going to win.
Where are they playing? Must I add? I just want to know where they're playing.
But not one player in North Carolina that's on the team now has ever lost in Cameron. Not one guy. We're 3-0, our seniors.
We'll see.
Hands hasn't lost.
We'll see this year.
It should be a great game. I have to give the edge to UNC. I know it's in Duke, and I think it should be a really close game, but I think UNC's players are going to step up. Now, we could potentially see these teams playing 3 more times this season, 1 more regular season matchup, maybe an ACC championship, NCAA tournament. So this should be fun. We'll bring you guys back every time they play to discuss this. All right, we'll be back next segment with a little NBA.
Monahan turns around, takes a quick peek at the clock, hands it up the middle to Lynn, who gets outside. Chaz Lynn, it's a foot race. He's at the 40, to the 30. Lynn still on the feet, and he's in. Touchdown, Lynn Hills.
Look at the clock, Lou. It reads triple zeros as Chaz Lynn plays his own version of Beat the Clock. He had to go one place, and that was into the end zone, because if he was tackled, the half was over. Chaz Lynn beats the clock.
Welcome back to the 30-minute drill. I'm your host, Max Zager, alongside John Vittas and Matt Heskins. We're talking about NBA basketball in this segment. Big week, a lot of great scoring performances, great victories for the Lakers. So let's start with Los Angeles Lakers. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers and Boston Celtics at their own houses, and the Cavs had a 23-game win streak at home, and they snapped that without Andrew Bynum. They don't even have one of their best players on the court, and they're still being the 2 best teams in the East. Why are they the best team in the NBA, and how are they doing this without Bynum?
To me, the reason why they're the best is their defense. If you remember last year, the NBA Finals, the reason that Boston beat them so easy was because Boston played defense. Now this year, the Lakers are the one who are playing great defense, and they're shutting Boston, and they shut Boston and LeBron James down, and that's why they're won, and that's why they're the best now.
John?
All right, all season, who have we said are the 3 best teams? Clearly, the Lakers, the Cavs, and the Celtics. All year, everyone said which of those 3 teams is the best. Now, they played each other, and the Lakers won both of those games on the road. So we saw with the Jets in football going across the country, losing all their games to bad teams.
The Jets.
The Lakers did that this year, and they did it with success, which is really surprising, going across the country and beating 2 out of the 3 best teams in the NBA.
I think that you both made good points, but I think Lamar Odom stepping up is a big reason why they won these 2 games and are doing so without Bynum. I mean, yesterday he had 28 points and 17 rebounds against the Cavaliers. Now that's big-time numbers. And he's so versatile, he could do it in any way. He could shoot threes, he can go to the basket. He's 6'11" and handles the ball like a point guard. I mean, he's really stepping up his game, and that's why they're doing so well. Now, a lot of injuries have been occurring lately. Andrew Bynum, like we said. Jameer Nelson was a big loss. The Magic were the 3rd best team in the East, trying to fight for a title in the Eastern Conference. Now, with Nelson out, he might not be back for the whole rest of the season. Do you think that they still have a chance to be one of the top teams in the East or make a run at the title?
I think that they don't really have a backup point guard, so what it's going to do is they're going to drop from the top 3. They were fighting all year with the Cavs and Boston to be at the top of the East. Now they're going to drop to about the 5th or 6th seed. They're going to drop a lot because of this.
Okay, John?
We're really going to see what Orlando's made of. When you lose your all-star point guard, it's a big loss, obviously. It's going to test the depth and the bench that the Magic has, but I don't really think they have guys coming off the bench that can fill in for Jameer Nelson because he was just such a big part of their team.
Yeah, Jameer Nelson made the all-star game. He was really running the show, getting the ball to Dwight Howard inside. Those 2 were a great combo together. They pretty much knew where each other was going before it even happened. He was great with the alley-oops to Dwight, and they really had a nice chemistry there, and that's the reason why they were doing so well. Now, Kobe and LeBron both played the Knicks and had unbelievable performance. And Kobe scored 61 points, and LeBron scored 52 and almost had a triple-double, having one of his rebounds wiped out by the NBA, so that he had 11 assists and 9 rebounds. Which performance is more impressive?
To me, the Kobe Bryant one was much more impressive. I mean, the shots that he was hitting fadeaways, reverse layups. I mean, amazing plays. He was going up, looking to pass it. No one was open, so he had to force the ball and shoot it, and he was still making everything. He was on fire. and it was the most points ever at Madison Square Garden. Huge accomplishment.
John?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I mean, obviously, both of these were tremendous performances by probably the two best players in the NBA in this decade. But I think LeBron's was a little bit more impressive. I mean, 52 points is only 9 short of 61, but the fact that he was able to pass the ball and get 11 assists as well as scoring 52 points and pulling down 9 rebounds, like you said, I think that's a little bit more impressive, and especially because the game before, everyone saw what Kobe did against the Knicks, so he had a lot of expectations going into Madison Square Garden. He was able to fulfill them with 52 points and 11 assists.
I got to agree with Matt. I think 61 is just, a lot of people have scored 50 points, but to get to that 60 benchmark is a whole other ballgame. 60 points is insane. I mean, think about that. Scoring 60 points in a basketball game. He made 20 for 20 from the free throw line. That was the second most consecutive free throws in a game, 23 being the record, and I'm sure if he got there 2 more times, he would have broke it. But 61 points is just so impressive. And Kobe does this all the time. I mean, he scored 81. He scored 62 other times in his career. It's just unbelievable what this guy does. Now, big trades are brewing. The trade deadline's starting to creep up. And one of the big names is Amari Stoudemire. He's one of the best forwards in the NBA, and Phoenix is looking to shop him around to some teams. Do you think that a lot of teams should go after him and try to get him to their team?
Absolutely, it would help. The Nets are the one in biggest trade talks, and I think it would help them. When you hear teams like Boston, San Antonio, elite teams, they all have a big three, and the Nets only have Carter and Devin Harris. So adding Amari would give them the big three, and then it would make their team so much better.
John?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Nets, getting Amari Stoudemire would be big for the Nets this year, but I think they should hang on to their young players and young talent that they have, because I don't think they're going to win a championship this year. So I think they'd be better off keeping the young guys, but if they do get Amari Stoudemire, that'd just be so huge for them this year.
Yeah, I think Amari Stoudemire is just a phenomenal guy, phenomenal player. He's just great talent inside. He can shoot the ball from the outside now, a great dunker, and him and Nash were great together, and I think that if you put Devin Harris, like you said, with the Nets, those two would be another great combo that would really be a force in the East, and they could probably challenge the Celtics and Cleveland inside, and they got the outside punch with Carter and Harris, so that would be a great trade if the Nets could pull that off. All right, guys, that's all the time we have for this edition of the 30-Minute Drill. We'll be back next week.